name is Kimberley BURISON. I am originally from USA, Richmond, Virginia, born and raised. Been there 42 years, but I'm actually 45 now. So anyway, I just want to share some of my testimony with you. I'm gonna start back because it all goes back to the beginning. I have to start at the beginning.
Yes.
From what I remember and what I was told when I was born, the cord was wrapped around my neck twice.
Oh.
They had to resuscitate me.
Oh.
They brought me back. I think like 3 months later.
Oh.
I ended up with meningitis. It spread it to my brain.
Wow.
The doctors pretty much had gave up on me and said that I wasn't going to make it. And I stayed in the hospital, I think it was 3.5 months with the meningitis.
Oh.
But when I finally got to the point where they could take me home, they said I wasn't going to live past a year. But look what the Lord has done.
Oh.
Honestly, they asked my grandmother, what did she do? Because they couldn't understand how, from the state that I was in, how I got to age 1. Okay, so my mom, she, I guess was, from what I was told, was working, so she really didn't have time to take care of me, the care that was needed.
Wow.
So I lived with my grandmothers until I was 5. I wanted to, I guess my grandmother was like, okay, it's time for you to go to your mom now.
Wow.
But when I went to my mom was like, I guess she still wasn't ready. So at this point, I go live with my great-grandmother. Grandmother to great-grandmother.
Wow.
And I'm an only child, so I have no sisters or brothers. So it wasn't even the fact of, well, what about this one, what about that one? It was just me.
Unique child.
Yeah. So I still had the thing of just wanting to be with my mom.
Yes.
And it was like the only way that I could get to be with her, it was like I had to either get in trouble.
Oh, to draw her attention to you, yes.
But even when I got her attention, I'm about to get out of this rain, it's cold. It was negative in a sense. It wasn't, it was never, I never got positive feedback from her. I never got positive feedback. I stayed with my great-grandmother up until age 11.
11.
So that's when I finally went to live with my mom. But it's a whole lot in between that happened. My grandmother, she was a foster parent. So she had a lot of teenagers in the house.
Okay.
Girls and boys.
So you were not alone in that house?
I wasn't alone.
Okay.
But I went through a lot of trauma in the house. I was raped multiple times by the boys that was there. From 8 to probably 13. So it was like a continuous thing. I never could say anything to anyone because I was afraid. But I guess for me, in order to make it, I put shields on. I learned how to protect myself. I learned how to fight and not allow people to get extremely close.
But were you conscious at that age of life that it was something not normal, or you were still very young in your mind?
I was still very young.
Yes.
but it was as if they told me if I said anything, stuff was going to happen.
Okay.
You know, so it
So
was
they were
like,
using intimidation.
Exactly. So it was three or four of the boys. So it wasn't just one boy. It was 3 or 4 of the boys that was there that actually did it. And then it was, we had this male friend of the family who he never raped me, but he touched me inappropriately a lot. And this was a grown man. So it was, for me, I never knew how to express it or share it with anyone. So that was a lot of my, I want to say, anger and unhappiness and
all this frustration and all these things that...
it was that, dealing with my mom or trying to get attention
from her.
To just have that mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there.
And at the same time, you are dealing with this
I was
issue.
dealing with that.
Yeah.
So then, when I finally went to live with her at age, it was between 12 and 13. Somewhere between 11, 12, 13. I can't remember exactly, but it was somewhere up in there. Believe it or not, she was still never home.
Oh, but at that point, is she the one who decided that you would move to her place, or
it was
the great grandma? Okay.
She said it's time for you to take your daughter.
Do you think she's aware of what you were going through in her place? She was aware in a way? No, she never knew this.
So when I did go to live with Mom, at that particular point she got married. But a year later she got divorced. So at this time, after her divorce, I probably see my mom maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, at the most. She would come home. Now, she wasn't on drugs or anything. It was just, she was just living her life, enjoying herself. Whoever she was with at the moment is where she would be.
Okay.
She would only come home to pack her bag and go. She would leave me money. She would put food in the house, but she would leave. I was on my own. So for me, honestly, now, I watched my grandmother and my great-grandmother, but as far as structure, I never had structure. Yeah. For me, I was always on my own.
On your